Let's take a look back to one of the most shocking and chaotic incidences to ever occur in Zanesville, Ohio, the exotic animal release tragedy. On an otherwise normal October evening in 2011, Zanesville was unexpectedly thrust into the national spotlight. News stations from around the country descended upon the town, and everyone was on the edge of their seats watching this surreal scene unfold. Terry Thompson, a well-known local exotic animal owner, made the horrible decision to release 50 of his wild animals before taking his own life. He methodically walked along his property, opening each cage door to release the animals before shooting himself and tragically ending his life. Although nobody knows the real reason the 62-year-old Vietnam veteran released his animals from their cages, one thing is for sure: tigers, bears, monkeys, lions, cougars, and wolves suddenly found themselves roaming free and posing a very real threat to the citizens of Zanesville. The nightmare began when Thompson's neighbors spotted a black bear and a lion near their property and called 911. Authorities were alerted to the highly dangerous animal escape, and soon there was sheer panic in the community. Schools and businesses were closed, walking postal service suspended, and people were encouraged to stay inside their homes. No one knew where the animals were or how far they had traveled through the city. There was a sense of fear, worry, and disbelief among the residents. Rumors and speculation quickly spread. Neighbors were already aware that Thompson kept a tremendous amount of exotic animals housed on his property, and police reports had been filed concerning the welfare of the animals. Neighbors had also previously complained of improper fencing and damage to their properties. The general community was not aware of the large number of exotic animals on the Thompson property. This was not a zoo, nor a public facility. This was just one man's desire to keep exotic, dangerous animals for himself. The volatility of the situation had come to light, and now everyone knew the sad reality of one man's obsession. Once law enforcement were on scene, they faced the unimaginable task of locating and corralling these dangerous animals. Sheriff Matt Lutz and his deputies, along with Jack Hanna, director of the Columbus Zoo, as well as other animal experts, including many from the wilds, were called in to help advise with the search and recovery of the animals. National news organizations quickly descended upon Zanesville, and the eyes of the world were on the dangerous and surreal situation at hand. Officers and animal experts had to make heart-wrenching decisions to protect human lives, ultimately resulting in 48 of the animals being shot and killed. Many people, including animal activists, were outraged by the killings. Sadly, animal experts on scene agreed that it was the only way to ensure the safety of the first responders and residents of Muskingum County. This tragic event didn't just shake Zanesville, it sent shockwaves across the nation and the world. Animal lovers were outraged, asking why the animals couldn't have been tranquilized instead of killed. Animal experts agreed that tranquilizing these animals was not a good option. In the end, the sad and tragic list of deceased animals were as follows: 17 lions, 18 tigers, 6 black bears, 2 grizzly bears, 3 cougars, 2 wolves, and 1 baboon. 1 monkey was never accounted for, and presumed to have been eaten by one of the large cats. There were 6 animals that survived the horrific massacre and were being quarantined for a 6-month period at the Columbus Zoo. In a terrible twist of fate, a spotted leopard was accidentally killed at the zoo when an automatic cage door came down on its neck, severing its spinal cord. After 6 months at the zoo, 5 animals were released to Thompson's widow, Marion. She was still residing on the property where the animal massacre took place. She took custody of 1 bear, 2 primates, and 2 leopards. The horrific incident raised serious questions about the ethics and safety of private exotic animal ownership. People began to realize the potential dangers these animals pose when not properly contained. Although Terry Thompson was an animal lover, the sheer number of large animals was too overwhelming to properly care for. The volume of food it takes to feed this many large carnivores is astounding. The daily cleanup is unimaginable. The expense of properly caring for such a vast amount of large, hungry animals is astronomical. This tragedy is a reminder of the difficulties and responsibilities of owning large exotic animals with needs far beyond one man's ability to provide. Perhaps Mr. Thompson simply could no longer keep up with the daily demands of exotic animal care. Although he did have help, ultimately the heavy responsibility was on his shoulders. The aftermath of this tragedy was a legislative wake-up call. Ohio, known for its lax regulations on exotic animal ownership, faced immense pressure to tighten its laws. Fast forward to today, and the Zanesville exotic animal release tragedy has led to stricter regulations and a ban on owning certain species without meeting specific care standards and obtaining necessary permits. This is definitely a story of tragedy, but also one of change and hope for the humane treatment of all animals as it pushed for better animal welfare laws and safer communities. We must remember that a mentally disturbed war veteran with a difficult past, as well as 48 majestic animals, lost their lives. Terry Thompson was an eccentric man with an interesting story, a man with good intentions originally. Unfortunately, his name will forever be remembered as the perpetrator of the exotic animal release massacre and linked to one of the worst tragedies in Zanesville, Ohio. If you are a vet experiencing mental health issues or feelings of harming yourself or others, please reach out for help by calling the Veterans Crisis Line. Dial 888, then press 1. Thanks so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe for interesting random content.